Today we will do supplemental services. So in supplemental services, we will be covering about call park, call pickup, MeetMe Conference, and time of day routing. So these are the 4 supplemental services that we are going to cover now. And then after that, we will be doing call coverage also. Let's begin. So in supplemental services, do you know what these services are like? Call park. What is call park? Any idea? No? All right. So let me explain. Call park is like hold, but not actually similar to hold. So it is like putting a call on hold, but retrieving the same call from any other device or any other phone as well. So in phone, in hold by default in the hold option, by default, what happens is when, let's say, there is a user 1001 dialing 1002 and they are in a call right now. And user 1002 wants to put 1001 on hold. So if the user put this call on hold and wants to resume the call, he can resume it from the same phone only, right? But what if, let's say, I'm sitting in this cabin and there is, let's say, some disturbance here. I want to move to some other room and take the call from here using the phone there. So that can be done using call park. Right? So in call park, it can be answered from any phone by putting it in a parking slot. Right? So we create a parking slot and we give a number to that parking slot, for example, 1111. This will be the parking slot number. And using this number, we can pick up the call from any other phone which are associated with that parking slot number. Okay, that is called call park. So call park can be configured for, let's say, a group of devices. So any call that is running and is put on call park at that moment can be resumed for any other phone. Okay. Similarly, there is call pickup. Call pickup is for incoming calls. So if there is any call which is being received, let's say there is an external user, a customer, calling 1001, which is in, let's say, the sales department. We work in the sales department too with this with the user 1001 here. There are some other users as well. Now, what happens? 1001 is not available at the moment, and the customer has called this phone, and this phone is ringing. So I am sitting on this phone, let's say 1002. I want to answer the call which is coming on 1001 without physically going to this phone and just by my phone, sitting on the same phone, right? That can be done by call pickup. Then there are different types of call pickup options. We can do it for the same group or maybe let's say another department, IT. Now there is a phone ringing in the IT department and I want to answer that phone from my phone itself. That can be done as well. That is called group pickup. Okay. So in that case also what we do is we create a group pickup number and then in the group pickup we associate some phones and assign a group pickup number. So using that group pickup number, we can answer the calls in case if a user is unavailable at the moment. Then there is MeetMe Conference. Now, what is conference? Conference can be of different types. One is called ad hoc and one is called MeetMe conference, like the scheduled conferences. So one conference is like, let's say I just start a call and it's like ad hoc. So in ad hoc, what happens is I call 1002 from 1001. Now on the same call, I want to add 1003. So what I will do, I just want to put this call on hold and then I'll call 1003 and then I merge the call. So that will be a conference. That's called a ad hoc conference, right? And the other type of conference is a scheduled conference. That is MeetMe conference. But MeetMe conference is a bit different from a scheduled conference. Like in this, there is a MeetMe number configured. So a MeetMe configured number is configured in the CUCM. Using that MeetMe number, a conference can be initiated. But to start that conference, first user who initiates the call needs to press the MeetMe soft key or a conference soft key. So on the phones, we see the conference soft key we have to press, and that phone should be uh, capable of doing the conference call. It should be having the soft key of conference, the MeetMe. So from these users, so let's say I configure a MeetMe conference number and I tell 5 people that at 5 p.m. This evening we are going to meet in for a conference, and this is your MeetMe number. So you can just dial this number. Let's suppose 18012. You can just dial this number and join the call. But it's not just straight that it you can just dial this number and the call will begin. To begin the call, there should be one user that starts this Meet Me conference by pressing the soft key. So by pressing this soft key, the Meet Me conference will initiate. And once that call is initiated, all the other users now go ahead and just dial this number from that phone and can join the same conference. That is called Meet Me conference. Then time of day routing. As the name says, it is for scheduled calls. So in this, what we can do is we can configure partitions and CSS in which we can configure some time schedule. So only for those particular times, certain calls will be permitted. It can be for certain destinations and time. That is time of day routing. Now we'll talk about these one by one. All right, so let's begin. The first is call park in supplemental services in CUCM. Call park. So here we can see an example. Phone A is making a call to phone B. Now there is an active call between phone A and phone B. Now phone B wants to put this call on call parking. So what it does is the phone B user presses call park soft key and the CUCM assigns the call park number. So that call park number which is pre-assigned in the CUCM, it will use that to put this call on the call park. And then the CUCM passed the call and put it on hold. Now, at this time, when the call is on park, it is on a hold feature. So it is on a hold and it can be resumed from any other phone using the call parking number. Now, CUCM moves the call to phone C as soon as the phone C user dials the call park number on this phone. Right? And then the call will be transferred to phone C and there will be the call between phone A and phone C now. So what happened is the initial call was between phone A and phone B. The phone B had put this call in call park and the call was resumed by phone C by dialing the call parking number. And now the call is active between phone A and phone C. Okay. Next is directed call park option. Now, directed call park option is not like globally any user can press any just a call parking number and can resume the call. We can configure separate call parking numbers for different users. That is directed call park. So here there is an active call between phone A and phone B. Phone B user transfer the call to the personal directed call park. So if let's say this user himself wants to resume the call, but from any other phone. So he only knows call parking number. So not every user can just resume the call from any phone. It will be the user on phone B only, but we will go to any other phone and using his own personal directed call park number, he can resume the same call. So what will happen if configure directed call path BLF shows busy lamp field will be shown on this phone that this phone is in the or this active call is in parking slot at the moment. And the CUCM parks the call and put it on hold. Now the user will move to phone C, use pickup or new call followed by call part number on phone C, and the CUCM will move the call to phone C. Now the call is active between phone A and phone C. All right, so that was call park. So call park can be done either the simple call park or directed call park. The other supplemental services, call pickup. So in call pickup, we can see, let's suppose there is a sales and IT department. For both, we have configured a call pickup group and we have assigned a call pickup group number to those groups. So for sales, the number we have assigned is 81000, and for call pickup group IT, we have assigned a call pickup group number 82000. Now, let's say any user from inside or outside calls a user in this group, and this user is not available at the moment. The phone is receiving the call, but must be a member of the call pickup group number if we want to take this call on behalf of this user in case the user is not available at the moment. So each call pickup group has a unique call pickup group number, as you can see is assigned to each group. Now notifications are possible within the same call pickup group. So only these users which are in the same call pickup group will receive this notification. A call pickup group can be associated with one or more other call pickup groups as well. So now let's say we have a call coming on 11002 and this user is not available at the moment. I want to take this call from 11003. So I can do that as I belongs to the same call pickup group just by dialing in the pickup number. And if let's say there is another department and the phone is ringing there and there is no one available at this moment and I want to resume that call, I want to pick up that call from my own phone, let's say 1003. So I can do that if the two call pickup groups are associated to one another. So we can even associate different call pickup groups to each other. Then we need to know the different call pickup group numbers to pick up those calls. Phone where you want to pick up a call must be a member of a call pickup group. Then there is standard call pickup. In standard call pickup, what is done? If you have configured a call pickup group and you have assigned a call pickup group number, you can even receive this call from any other user just by dialing in the DN number of that user. Or you can pick up by dialing in the group pickup number. So if it is enabled, other members of the same group or pickup group are notified about the incoming call. The call can only be picked up by a member of the same group. That is this. This is the group pickup number. Press the call pickup soft key. So if it is a standard group pickup, just for a single group, you can just press a call pickup soft key if that is available on the phone, and we can pick up the call which is coming in the same pickup group and is not answered yet. Now, in this case, the priority is always the longest ringing member. So now what will happen? Let's say at the same time, two of the phones are receiving the call. So let's say at 10:15, this user just received a call and it is ringing and this user is not available. Then there is another call coming up at 10:17 on this user and this user is also not available. Now two phones are ringing at the same time. I want to pick up a call from 11003, but the group pickup number is just one, same. So which call will be picked up? So for that, the algorithm is longest ringing member. So because this is being ringing for a longer time than the second one, so this call will be picked up from 11003. Okay, that is standard call pickup. Next, group call pickup or directed call pickup. So now we are talking about group call pickup. So here, let's say an inside or outside user calls the user 11001. This phone is ringing. Now, the calls are received on two phones of a call pickup group, and we want to resume the call from 11003. So first of all, in the group pickup, it pick up the longest ringing in any other group. So now, as suppose we have two groups, sales and IT, and two group pickup numbers are configured. More than one phones are ringing at the same time, and we want to pick up the call, which can be from the same group or from the different group using the group pickup number associated with them. But which call will be resumed, that is depending on the same that we just discussed. That is the longest ringing one. You can pick up the call of specific phone in associated group by dialing the group pickup soft key and then the DN number. Now this is directed. So specifically, so in the standard one, we cannot define that which particular user's call we want to answer. We will just dial in the group pickup number, and whichever phone is ringing for the longest time will be picked up. Whereas in directed call pickup, we can just press a soft key for pickup and then dial the DN number for which we want to answer the call. So let's say 1001 and 11002 both are ringing at the same time. Both belong to the same pickup group number. Now I want to resume the call of the first user and not the second one. Maybe this one is ringing for the longer time, but I want to answer this one, right? So in that case, what I can do is just press the soft key pickup, group pickup, and then dial in the DN number of this user, and then this call will be picked up. So pick up the call of specific phone in same group pickup soft key plus the DN number. That is directed or group call pickup. Other group call pickup. So here there is another example. Here, let's say there are two departments, sales and IT again. They are both divided into two different call pickup groups with the call pickup group numbers these. The members of a call pickup group can pick up calls of associated call pickup groups. Press the other call pickup or group call pickup soft key. Now here the priority will be the order of associated groups and longest ringing member. So let's say I want to answer a call which is coming on this phone in sales department from any other user in the other department. I can do that as well by using the call pickup group number from that department or that group. So in that case, if there are more than one calls coming at the same time, the priority will be order of associated group and longest ringing member again. Okay. Next is MeetMe Conference. This is another supplementary service in CUCM. MeetMe Conference, as I mentioned earlier also, that MeetMe Conference is a scheduled conference, and for this, a MeetMe number is configured. So what happens is on CUCM is configured with the MeetMe number of range this. So we can configure any MeetMe number like 88011, whatever. So here we have configured 88088, for example. So what will happen? Phone A user starts a MeetMe conference by pressing the MeetMe conference soft key. This is how the MeetMe conference initiates. So we will configure a MeetMe number, but just by dialing this MeetMe number, not the conference will not start. The conference will only start when one of the users will press a MeetMe conference soft key and then dial a number out of the configured MeetMe number range. So from this MeetMe number range, if there is a range of MeetMe numbers or a specific MeetMe number can be dialed. So first press the MeetMe conference soft key and dial this number. Now the MeetMe conference will start. All other users now can go ahead and join this conference by dialing in this MeetMe number. So now next is phone B and phone C are the two users who wants to join this MeetMe conference. They can join the MeetMe conference by dialing the MeetMe number 880088. And now there will be a conference between phone A, phone B, and phone C. So just to make sure that how it works, the first user who wants to initiate the conference needs to press the MeetMe conference soft key and dial the MeetMe number. Then only the MeetMe conference will start. And the other users can just dial in the MeetMe number and can join the same conference. Next is time of day routing. So in time of day routing, we can configure a schedule for certain destinations or calls to happen for certain period of time only. So let's say we have a time schedule C in which we say the time period is Monday to Friday. We want a time schedule in which the users will be able to make calls only from Monday to Friday 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. half day, right? And we want to associate this time schedule with a partition. So that partition is, let's say, partition B, and this partition B is for the destination this. So if any user is dialing an international number starting with 9 dot and exclamation markings, wildcard mark, so any number that, and it is for international as it starts with 9. So we are saying that any international number being dialed by any user in this period of time will be allowed. Other than that, it will not be allowed to make calls to international numbers. So as this partition B is associated with this phone A and this phone A has this TSS, so they are allowed to make calls in this period of time. Whereas there is another partition also where there is no time schedule applied and the partition will always be active. So what will happen if there is another partition or any partition that does not have any time schedule, that will always be active because there is no time schedule, it just simply means it's always active. But this partition is for this particular phone. So this phone A can make calls to 11002 phone B at all times. But when this phone wants to make calls to an international number, will only be allowed as per this time schedule. Okay, so two partitions are there. One for the destination 11002, that is phone B, which will be applied at all times as there is no time schedule. Whereas there is another partition, partition B, where there is a time schedule C applied, and partition is only active during specific times which are mentioned in the time schedule for that destination. All right, that is time of day routing. So in time of day routing, we can configure class of service to permit or deny calls depending on the time, basis on which it will match and block or permit the pattern. So it can match block patterns at certain times or permit patterns at certain times. Then there is path selection also. Along with time of day routing and along with the schedule, we can also configure which path will be taken for that. Let's suppose we have configured a time schedule and also to make calls from phone A to this PSTN. Let's say we have two connections. One is PSTN 1 and we have a PSTN 2, let's suppose. Both of the PSTN lines have different cost. Let's say this is a cheaper one and this is expensive PSTN. So I want to take PSTN 1 as the priority. So I want the call to be going to the PSTN phone or an international phone through PSTN 1 only. If PSTN 1 is down, then it should go to the expensive one, PSTN 2. That can also be done using time of day routing. So two of the configurations we can do in this. First is class of service we can do. We can configure a schedule in that. We can also configure path selection in that. So it will route calls differently depending on the time. So this time schedule will be mapped with the path selection. So let's say we want that at these certain times, it should take PSTN 1 link, right? So at those times, only this time schedule, this path selection or path will be allowed. Okay, so what it does is it match the pattern to be routed differently at certain times. That can be done. Now, another example for this is for path selection. The scenario is we want to allow phone A to call phone C only on July 4th and allow phone B to call phone C at all times. So two things we want to configure here is for phone A to make call to phone C. Phone C is this one, 11003. If phone A wants to make a call to phone C, it should only be allowed on July 4th. So here we will first configure a time schedule. We will put that time schedule to a partition apply this partition and CSS to this phone so that the phone A will only be allowed to make calls to this user for this destination only at certain time, that is July 4th, all day July 4th. So we have configured a time schedule C, time period 1, we have mentioned July 4 all day. And we have applied this time schedule to partition A for the destination 11003, and we have a CSS applied for the same on phone A. So whenever a phone A tries to dial 11003, it will try to match this entry based on the partition, and in the partition there is a time schedule. So if the user is dialing 11003 and it is July 4th, it will be allowed. Otherwise, it will not be allowed. It will be denied. Whereas the other phone, phone B, needs to call phone C at all times. So we will configure another partition which always remains active, and we will have no time schedule in that. Because we know when there is a partition where there is no time schedule, it is active all the time. Right? So there is a partition B associated with phone B, and it has a CSS to it, and there is no time schedule with partition B to make call to 11003. So whenever phone B tries to call 11003, it will check that in this partition, is there any time schedule? No, there is no time schedule. So you can just simply go ahead and make a call to this. But if phone A is making a call to this number, to the same destination, as there is a partition which is mapped with a time schedule, only if the user is dialing in that certain period of time will be allowed, otherwise it will not. Then there is class of service examples. So there are two scenarios here we can see. These are some other examples, scenario 1 and scenario 2. Scenario 1 says deny calls from phone A to this destination only on July 4, allow all other international calls at all times. So phone A should not be able to make calls to this number on July 4, but all other international calls should be permitted. So what we have done is we have created a time schedule D in which there is the time period mentioned July 4 all day. And we want to deny this user to make calls. So we have put this in the partition and applied a CSS for the same in this group. And we say that it should be blocked for this route pattern. So whenever a call is received for this destination from phone A in this period of time will be blocked. Right? The other scenario is allow calls from phone A to this destination. So now we want to say that this user, phone A, the same user, should be allowed to make calls to this destination only on July 4 and allow all other international calls at all times. So now the next is we have to create another partition that will allow this user to make calls on July 4. So for that, we have another schedule where now this will be permitted. Right? So the first one was to block, to deny it. The second is to allow it. And rest all international calls should be permitted. So we have another partition, partition C, for all international calls. And as there is no time schedule mapped with this partition, partition C, so it will be active at all times.